Alright, Shalom. First, I can start by saying all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth with sincerity. Now, I'm just giving you a little update on what's going on in Venezuela, because everything that's going on in Venezuela is coming to America, and a lot of it's already happened as far as the people uprising against the government. They just not killing nobody off at this point in time, like how they're doing in Venezuela. But I'm gonna start with this scripture. This is Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy." Right, and what's going on in Venezuela has been prophesied through the scriptures. But not only is it prophecy for Venezuela, it's also prophecy for what's to come to America. It says, "Which I will put in thy mouth," right? So we got this from the Bible, saith the Lord, "and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true," right? So it's written in the scriptures, man, these prophecies. "Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee," right? The imaginations is people saying what they're going to do to us, for bringing out this truth, man. We're not supposed to fear them. It says, "Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee," right? So, we're not troubled behind their unbelief neither, man. "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness," right? So, if people don't believe, man, they're going to die, man. And that's what you see going on as far as these protests go and these uprisings and seditions amongst these nations, primarily in this case Venezuela. A lot of these people don't believe in Yahweh Shema Shai, because if they did, they wouldn't be out there, man. And that's this is Asher, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Asher. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world." Right, and a plague is them starving, having to eat cats and dogs and rats upon the world. But it says the world also, so this is going on all over the world. Slovakia. It says, "Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world," right? "The sword, famine, death, and destruction," right? Nuclear missiles, famines, which is primarily what's going on in Venezuela, death, and you have people actually dying over there also from them uproars, man. With them starving and stuff, you got people killing each other for food, man. And destruction, right? And destruction is coming, man. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled," right, man? So, wickedness, if you look up the religions of Venezuela, they worship in that Caesar Borgia picture. If you keep up with the news, the articles and stuff, they be marching with the Caesar Borgia pictures and stuff. And, the new president, I think his last name is Maduro, he keep in contact with the Vatican. The false prophet, like it says in Revelations, man. He keep in contact with the Vatican in order to, have him persuade these nations that's paying for these mercenaries not to come in and take his ass down, man. So, they worship in that the false prophet, which the scriptures also say, and they trust in Esau, man. The white man, and get them out of the situations they in instead of trusting Yahweh Shema Shai. So rightfully so, what's going on in Venezuela need to happen in Venezuela. It says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." I'm going to jump. It says, verses 14. "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. So these individual nations included. "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh," right, their destruction. "One people shall stand up to fight against another," right, race wars, "and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men," these people uprising against their governments, man, "and invading one another," right, home invasions. "They shall not regard their kings nor princes." And this is on a small scale of that scripture right there, man, because you do got people invading one another over there, man. They say the gangs and the mercenaries basically rule the streets out there, man. It says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? So their governmental officials and their senators, they're going to be put to death, man. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled. And it says the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, right, man? And all that's going on in Venezuela right now today, man. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, right, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread. And if Venezuela is known for them famines, and for great tribulation, right? So that scripture is being shown in this video that was just showing, and then I got another video that's gonna come on after this, man, to further explain the tribulation that they going through over there in Venezuela, man. All right. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? And as you can see, this is part of measuring the time, man, keeping up with these prophecies and these news articles, man, these documentaries about what's going on in these nations, man. That's how we know that, the prophecies are true and that the Lord is on his way back. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, right, in the beginning, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right, so these prophecies that's happening in Venezuela, not only is it happening in Venezuela, it's happening all over the world, but that's the signs and the prophecies of ultimately the downfall of America and the rest of the nations in the upcoming of Yahushua and his elect, man. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonders, and powerful works, and endings, and effects, and signs, and everyone that shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith whereby ye have believed. Right, and this is showing our belief, us doing these scriptures, man, because our deliverance is going to be by way of the chariots, man. So, but yeah, that's it for the lesson. All praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well. And salutation to the brothers that are doing the truth sincerely. Shalom.
The simplest of weapons, acts of defiance against Venezuela's police and its president. More unrest on the streets of Caracas. Crowds once again have marched through the city, demanding an end to the government of President Nicolas Maduro, a government they blame for Venezuela's economic crisis and the deaths of more than a dozen people killed during 3 weeks of demonstrations.
The people lost access to medicine, lost access to food, and feel that this is the final moment. The response of the government was excessively brutal. The response that you have today in the street, after weeks and weeks of repression, means people will continue marching.
On Venezuela's western border with Colombia, people also took to the streets. Many, like the crowds in Caracas, carrying religious icons. Prices in Venezuela have soared over 700% in the 12 months to February. Many basic necessities are hard to find. Socialist President Maduro blames capitalism for driving up prices, but critics say that's wrong.
The opportunity for dialogue is over. The government has to leave. They have to listen to the people. The people don't want any more communism or revolution or any of this that has brought us so much suffering. We will have general elections.
Some are determined their protests should be peaceful. For others, the frustration is too great. Venezuelans continue to defy the police and their president.
Andreina Pereira tries to come to Colombia from over the border in Venezuela every few weeks to buy basic products. She travels for 13 hours to buy some food and diapers for her child.
Horrible, malísima.
The situation is horrible. We can't find what we need, and if we do, we can't afford it. We have to wait in line for hours, and then when they run out, you wasted the whole day. We can't even eat like we used to.
She's not carrying much money, around $20 to buy what she needs for the days to come. In Venezuela these days, there are shortages of almost everything. The government cannot pay to import goods because it's strapped for cash after a drop in oil prices and heavy government spending.
What's happening on this bridge is an example of the enormous economic crisis in Venezuela right now, with thousands of people coming from Venezuela to Colombia to buy diapers, food and medicine. They claim that this is the only way they have to cover some of their basic needs.
Those coming here need to get a good exchange rate. On that will depend how much they can take back. Orlando Churon claims he's changing money to try to get medicines for his wife.
My wife has cancer. I come from Valencia and there are no medicines for cancer there. This is chaos. We are desperate and there's a lot of people like me.
For weeks, Venezuelans have been taking to the streets to demand elections and respect for Venezuelans' institutions after the government stripped the opposition-controlled Congress of its last powers. Even though the decision was reversed, many in the country say they have had enough. The Venezuelan government says the protests are organized by the extreme right, who is trying to destroy Hugo Chávez's socialist revolution. On Saturday, Nicolás Maduro published this video, where he said he's getting ready for the victories to come. Many believe the government may be considering to call for long-delayed local elections.
We are working so that the dialogue with the Vatican continues with the international community to control the violence from mercenary groups hired to create chaos, criminal gangs that want to practice terrorism. In Venezuela, there is peace.
Most of those coming here have lost faith in the government's ability to improve their lives. In the meantime, they claim, they have to keep on going and trying to take back as much as they can.